Hi everyone, my name is MC and I'm so excited to welcome you to my channel. Thank you so much for coming by. I decided to make a short series to share with you all the journey that I went on to publish my first book. As you can see here, Allah Made You by me. I really wanted to be able to share this journey with you all so that you could be inspired to realize that if you have any goals or dreams that you can also achieve them, that it's really realistic, and that even though it looks like everyone is succeeding and doing amazing things, it doesn't mean that you don't have your opportunity to do that too. And I kind of just wanted to share some of that excitement and inspiration with you all. So during this series, my goals are to sort of help you all realize how to create your concept, how to really create a compelling story, finding an illustrator or using different programs to illustrate for yourself, creating realistic timelines, a little bit about marketing, my experience with publishing and some things that I wish I knew before I got started, as well as what costs have been involved for me and things like this. So this series is really just gonna follow along on that journey and hopefully help some of you in starting your own. But today I really wanted to focus my video on just getting started. So when I told my friends that I had published this book, I really got two main responses. So within my community, one of them, of course, was excitement. Like, we're so excited you did this. This is a project, you know, that is really beneficial and it's going to be useful and helpful to a lot of people, which I thought was wonderful. And then another reaction I got was people sort of sharing their own desires. You know, oh, I started a story a long time ago, but I just haven't finished it. Or I wrote a story, but I'm just feeling a little shy about trying to publish it. All of those different types of reactions on that general spectrum of sharing their own desires. And that's kind of what I wanted to focus on today. And just wanting to have this feeling of accomplishment and gratitude that I feel on having completed this project be something that you all can experience too. So I just wanted to share a couple of tips that I use for getting started that I think would be really useful for you all. So the first thing is, if you feel like you want to write a story, but you don't really know where to start, you should pay attention to the idea that doesn't go away. So I mean, you're falling asleep at night and it comes up again, or you're in a conversation and you hear a word that reminds you of this idea, something that just happens to keep coming back. You're having dreams about it, you see a video and it triggers that idea again. Anything that you can't get out of your head, I take that sort of as a sign that this is the thing that you're supposed to be focusing on. And so for me, that was, as I was going to bed at night, I started to sort of get these lines of a story that sort of rhymed that I started to feel coming alive as I was falling asleep. And so that's something that I decided to focus on. So number one, pay attention to the idea that doesn't go away. Number two is really thinking about your why. So I have wanted to be an author my entire life. I used to write stories when I was younger. I'm sure many of you probably did too. And it's really something that I've always enjoyed. And I now have a son, a 2-year-old, and I read books to him every single day. And it always comes in the back of my mind, wouldn't it be great if I could read him a story that I actually wrote that was beneficial and something that I could have memories with him of, and when he gets older, he'll realize that it's something that I made for him. So that was sort of my why. And another part of my why was really wanting to contribute to something bigger than myself. So I reverted to Islam in March of 2023, so it's been just over a year. And as with anything that I'm involved with, I always want to leave some positive impact. And so taking my love of writing and my love of reading to my son and sort of creating lasting positive emotions for people, I decided that I really wanted my why to be to reach out to others in a lasting and impactful way. So after I paid attention to the idea that didn't go away and I figured out what my why was, I had to decide to do it. So number 3 is decide to do it. Making an outline is a great way to get started if you feel overwhelmed. And the outline doesn't even have to go in order. It just has to be written down. So you can doodle, you can scribble, you can write words, lines, phrases, whatever comes to mind when you think of this project, write it down. And the reason why you should do that is because it brings it into the real world. The more that you think about something and it stays inside of your mind, it can start feeling a little bit heavy. But once you write it down and you put it on something physical, then you can start realizing how it can actually become a reality, right? So for me, I usually did my planning and writing when my son was asleep. So I used my phone and I just opened up a Word doc or Pages on the iPhone app or whatever it is that you can use. And I just started writing out whatever came to mind. And then it started to help me conceptualize how these different pieces would come together and start to visualize what I wanted it to look like. So once I decided to do it, it was time for me to set some goals. I'm a firm believer in getting things done by setting goals that are actually achievable. I don't know if you've ever heard of this term SMART goals, S-M-A-R-T. And they basically stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So I'll give you an example with my own experience. My specific goal was to create an Islamic children's book that I could read to my son as he went to sleep. So the measurable part of this goal is that the book should be published, and when it's published, that means I've become successful in my endeavor. So that's how I measured whether or not I achieved the goal. It should be achievable. So, not setting a goal of, well, I want to publish the book and sell 100 copies in the first month and become the New York Times best-selling author within my first 3 months. While that is possible, and I know that people have done it, for me personally, I don't feel like that's an achievable goal. So I set my goal just to be actually completing the project, to say I am a published author and to be able to hold a physical copy of something that I have made and that's available to other people. That made my goal achievable for me. Next, it should be relevant. So of course, the book is called Allah Made You. So it's focused on teaching children about how God created them. It leaves something positive. It allows families to share time together, which is also positive. So it is relevant to my goal in leaving some positive interaction in the community that I've joined. And then time bound. I gave myself a year to complete this project. I started it in this December 2023, and I actually published in the first week of April. So it ended up going a lot faster than I had expected. But again, I set my time for 1 year because I thought that was realistic. And so you just figure out with your life circumstances and the things that you do, how much time you have available to you, you figure out what time-bound goal is realistic. One thing I will stop and say is that I am a full-time working mom. I'm a dentist and a dental educator. And so I do all of my authoring as a side project, as a passion project. So if you're looking at this video and all the others that exist and you're going, man, I just wish I had time to do that. It really is a mindset change, When I had 5 minutes and I had a thought, I just wrote it down. Being consistent in those small time increments helped me become successful in my goal, okay? So I decided to do it. I set some realistic goals. And then the last step, number 5, was to take a concrete step. And that was creating the outline of the story inside of a PDF format and then sending it out to illustrators that I was interested in their art style for them to give me samples of what their illustrations would look like. And like I mentioned in the beginning, it is going to be a series, so I'll talk to you guys about the different steps, including finding an illustrator. But that was the concrete step that made me go, this is my point of no return. I'm in it for real. We're going to make it happen. So we've talked about a lot of things that I hope will help you get started. And I just want to leave you all with a couple of words of encouragement, mostly beginning to put inside of your mind that there's really no time but the present. You know, there's so many things that can happen in a day, that can happen in your life, as we can see, that there's no days that are promised to us. And so we should really make the most of the time that we have available to us and try and make the best impact that we have. And so if you can find the energy to do it, even to just do a little bit, I say go for it, because what my next word of encouragement would be is baby steps are going to get you there, right? So even if you're working just 20 minutes a day, that's still progress. You just have to do something, right? And while our time is not promised to us, if our time continues passing, I just want you to imagine yourself 1 year from now and then look back to this moment. Will you be thinking, I wish I had started? Right? The year passed anyway, so I might as well have been doing what I wanted to do, what I was passionate about. The year already passed. I could either have achieved something or I could still be thinking about it. So just, try and conceptualize how this will fit into your life and what will make you feel most accomplished. The next thing I want to say is that your ideas matter. They really do. Like I said, I'm an educator. I love inspiring my students to use their voice, to speak up, to be active members in the community, and to know that the things that they think and the things that they want to share with people really matter. And that goes for you too, okay? Next, I will say that you can make an impact, right? So I just want you to realize that no matter what the project is that you want to do, whether it be writing a story or creating a coloring book or going out and teaching people something in your community, whatever it is that your goal is that you're setting, you can make an impact. And while you're looking for ways to accomplish this, I want to encourage you not to get too distracted and overwhelmed in the research and viewing the success of others, because just like with publishing a child's book or creating jewelry or whatever else it is that's trending on social media right now, there are going to be lots of other people that are doing it because, we're humans. We do things that we like and we happen to like the same things. But that doesn't mean that because someone else is doing it and they're doing it really well, that you can't also do it well. You have your own style, you have your own input, your own experiences, your own desires, and all of those things will make your product unique to you. And so it's worth pursuing if you really have the desire to do it. So instead of getting bogged down with watching all the videos and looking at all the success of others, put that energy into getting started, Do the project first and then worry about the rest of it later. And then of course, have some fun, right? I mean, if the course of creating this, whatever product it is that you're trying to create, causes you more stress than enjoyment, then maybe it might be time to reevaluate your why. Why are you doing it? Why did you decide to do it? And what your goals are. Maybe they have to be tailored back a little bit so that you don't feel so overwhelmed. But in this whole process, I really just want you to be able to have a good experience, to have a good impact on other people, and to just have fun, right? So I really appreciate your time. I can't wait to see you in my next video. If you're interested in reading or learning more about my book, you can check out the links inside of the description. And I can't wait to share more of my little gems and jewels with you all. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you next time.